taken time to really expand our connection to make sure the connection between oppression and the exploitation of the natural environment, the fact that we are losing our lands in Louisiana at such a rate that they think that in 20 years New Orleans may be gone. If we don't implement mitigations in the next 5 years, mitigations that nobody is even talking about on a leadership level, then we stand at risk of losing the very land. We already know that people are being displaced out of our neighborhoods and all those things. So, in closing with Handwright Day, you'll hear a lot about the history of the environment, what it did to us, particularly as Black women in New Orleans, how we think about our social status, but wanted to kind of bring it full circle with the conversation about the environment. And this is wrote an article about how Black climate writers and environmental justice writers are being kept out of the can, even though the work is moving in our community. Kimberly Walker. So she says, how many generations does it take for descendants of systemic oppression to write about their love of the natural world and get published? We are living in the gap between the question and any number of responses. We are living in the bubble between dreams and the real, where science meets reflective memoir, where science meets fiction, and things a storyline into it. In the past 40 years, there has been a surge of Black writers whose fiction, sci-fi, and magic realism is thin. It should be no surprise that Black Americans, descended from multilingual, multi-ethnic, and multicultural Africans of the transatlantic slave trade, Blacks of the African diaspora, and Native Africans flourish in all literary genres. Many more than I've been able to list here. So I'm going to ask that you stay with article to everyone, that they can see the list of writers that are included is pretty amazing. I like to think Black writers are in the Renaissance, healing from generational trauma that can only make us more present and more powerful in the advocacy of climate change and planetary awareness. Wangari Maathai listed in part 2 science said, recognizing that sustainable development, democracy, and peace are indivisible ideas, is an idea whose time has come. Today we are facing challenges that call for a shift in our thinking, so that humanity stops threatening its life support system. We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds, and in the process heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity. Climate change consciousness did not begin with white or European writers and scientists who benefited from systems that enshrined their access to land, clean water, higher education, and recreational pursuits in nature, and marginalized communities. Any climate change library must start with honoring peoples past and present on any continent who lived and live in balance with their natural resources. Our collective footprints did deeply our exquisite planet and billow beyond our stratosphere. I cannot speak for the millions of BIPOC people, Black Indigenous people, but I can for my recent ancestors. Climate change consciousness began as survivors of the transatlantic slave trade in America's brand of enslavement. I will speak for my way back ancestors, Homo erectus, who almost 2 million years ago witnessed the Pleistocene earth flourish and evolve because of climate. At times I grow happy and frightened out of my wits. Happy, dancing with hope, to be alive at this time, pondering into impending deafness on the systems of the earth, cycles of dying, of change, of us adapting. And the climate modeling, all the climate modeling in the world, will not squarely face the oppressive systems of our past. So let's do a tiny thing right. Speak and read a book authored by a Black person on your most beloved climate change mission. All intertwined, we all have work to do, saving ourselves, healing oppression, and healing the earth. And I am so appreciative of joining us today. This beautiful panel that we have is going to expand your mind and your hearts. Thank you all for
Thank you so much. That was cool. Can you please give her a round of applause once again? Please, sir. Awesome. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but we're excited about this. Listen, coming into the place, coming into this space, and just seeing all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful women, especially coming and adorning their headpieces. So I just want to jump right in it. I want to introduce my panelists. I have Mama Javier. Is it Divers? And I said, hey, I think about it, Divers. Thank you so very much. Let me tell you something. I want to take this time to say thank you from the bottom of my heart because when I initially called you, the first thing you said was, "Did you speak of Walter Trevine?" That was the first thing that came out of your mouth. You know that she's definitely a historian of headlands. She's amazing. Unfortunately, she could not be with us on this particular year due to some family issues, but it's all good. But I want to say thank you so much because you showed me like that your name on right then and there to her, and that's very, very important, especially so I want to thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. And next I have the lovely Darylyn. Darylyn, hi, how are you? Want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you have going on real quickly before we get into this history?
Sure, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Um,
You
my
look
name
amazing.
my name is Darylyn Taylor. I have been in fashion for about 12 years now, and with the recent social, I've always been also inspired. I just felt, uh, I just felt the need to embrace it more. So I have a collection that introduced Arab but I have always been, in fashion. So my knowledge is
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. And y'all, last but not least, I have the lovely Jay every day. Thank you so much for this. She is such an influence for you all. I tell you, the girl is, oh man, she's bananas. I love her. She is definitely an influence of Jay. Tell them a little bit about what you do in your life.
I am Jalen, also known as Jerry, by profession, I'm a barber. But I have been tying my head up for years. I can remember tying my head up long as high. I'm known for having my hair wraps, and I have a hair wrap line called Rain Wraps and Lane Gap. So I have shirts as well, sometimes other things. But that's my thing. I've gotten into it for a very long time. I hate when we go out and buy it when you're getting to a whole other side, your head up, you look like a queen, so that's always been my stance, so that's kind of what I stand.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm gonna kick it back to you, Mama Khalil. Listen, please, by all means, tell the people who you are, what it is that you do, and the beauty in it is everyone up here on this panel is a black business owner. So give it up for them just like that. Everybody is a black business owner. Yeah, and you'll have the opportunity to be able to shop their looks. Please, by all means, support these ladies. Took the time out of their day to come here and provide service for us. So let's sow that seed right back into their lives. So let's get started with it, okay? Tell me how you got into the entire history of headbands and how is that so important?
Well, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Madame,
Okay.
mademoiselle, monsieur. I got into the dress style of the 1800s at a very early age. I grew up in Treme, and I was 2 blocks away from a block and a half from Rampa Street. On the other side was French Quarters, and in the quarters, you know, they still maintain some of the older ladies with their head wraps on, And so I was always kind of fascinated by them sitting on their porches. And then I discovered Marie Laveau. And so I was super fascinated by the style of clothes. As you can see, I love a long dress.
That'll work.
And I love a flowing long dress.
Okay.
And I love the jewelry, the gold hoops, and wrapping my head. And my father was into Louisiana history. So as a child, I grew up with him telling me not your typical stories about history of Louisiana or New Orleans, but some things about African Americans and our contributions to change and difference and growth and development of our state. And so I guess it comes about in my early 20s. I belonged to an organization called the Alliance for Community Theaters. And we used to have what we call our Black History Party in February. And everybody had to dress as a historical character, and they would have to tell you something about that historical character. Then we moved to, I remember Liberty Bank started sponsoring the Black Heritage Festival at the zoo. And they discovered, created, Mark Morial, he was the mayor at the time, a thing called Who Am I? And they would have historical characters stationed at different places throughout the zoo. So when a person or a child encountered that person, if you would give them a little history, who am I? You know, I was born such and such, and you would give them the opportunity to guess. If they couldn't, of course, you could give them the answer, and at the end of the route, they could go to a station and get a present for telling these stories. And so that just started developing more and more. One of our companies, Curtain Call Theater, Director Harold Evans, he created a company and he specialized in hiring historical characters. Then probably 10 years later, New Orleans created a company called the Louisiana Living History Company, and I was one of the founding members with Nicholas Sloan. And so every Christmas for 30 days, we were out in the quarters visiting different shops and hotels. We would have like a 30-minute performance. And so this whole thing of learning the history, because I wanted to continue to be able to tell the story. Now, somewhere in there, you know, I just kind of like the look that I meet Madame Barbara Trevine, and she is, you know, a historian as well, and we just clicked immediately. And through her, I started learning the purpose of the tenure. Now, with the Living History Company, what I learned was that how you dress and what you wore on your head. Okay, I need to take you back to the 1700s. So, or prior to, say, the 1900s, where it was vulgar not to have proper clothing on. If you didn't have, you could not walk the street without something on your head, whether you're a male or female. It's just vulgar. Right now, if my ankles were showing, I could go to jail. Wow. And so that was just, you know, I mean, we probably don't stop really wearing headpiece, especially on Sundays, until like the 60s, started fading out gloves, head hats or something. And so when a hat, let's use a hat for example, the type of hat a person would have on would determine their class in society. So here we're in New Orleans in 1700, let's say 1750. I know most people don't think that we were thriving as a city, but we were. And at this point, you know, we have enslaved Africans and people who were born here that don't know anything but being a slave. So they just function the way they're told. And so as a slave, as an enslaved person, you had to have a kerchief. We know it as a bandana. So we would have the kerchief, and we were all from different nations, different countries in Africa. We were from the Caribbean. We were just mixed because, you know, the Caribbean was the middle part of the transatlantic slave trade. So I'm sure babies were being born in that slave trade, in the Caribbean. So we were very fortunate as Louisianians to still maintain some of those ideas and history from our ancestors, or from really back then it was their grandparents or something like that. And so, you work in the fields, it's hot. So, they give you a white piece of rag, you put it on your head, because you need the white to protect you from the sun as much as possible. But then, they started mixing and having babies here. And so some people, women decided, y'all won't let me buy a hat, or I can't afford to buy a hat. I'm changing my head wrap. And we did have a lot of people of color, and they were of a different society. So they didn't want to be confused with a kerchief that they were enslaved. And so they started using more colorful, because we probably had red, like we always see Mammy and Jemima in the red and blue. Those things probably meant something too. If you work in the kitchen, you can't have all of that stuff on, so, and you're sweating. And probably younger women probably kick this well. They probably mothers or their grandmothers talk about when they were in the Caribbean or when they were in Africa somewhere, and how fancy we would dress. We've been told from the very beginning of coming here that we came from kings and queens of Africa. So New Orleans is one of the places in the country who remembered that and wanted to continue to honor that. We weren't happy, we have a glamorized history of slavery in New Orleans. Everybody walking around free and meeting up with Frenchmen and everything. That was not a real reality. That was not a real reality. Yes, we had that. Some of them were able to be taken care of by those French people, but probably for a short period of time until their families in Europe or their wives in Covington discovered they had a whole nother family here. So those women had benefits that the average enslaved person on a plantation did not have. So in tradition, we're under Napoleonic law. Napoleon discovered us, and her name just escaped me. Wife was, I want to say Angelique, who was from Martinique, and Louisiana, I think, was kind of purchased for her, because in the Napoleonic law it says that a woman could own their own business and own property. That wasn't happening in the rest of the world. So I think she was trying to develop this culture. So in honor of her, many people found different materials, and the mattress was one of those pieces. But it was colorful. It was like plaid and different colors. And you don't want to keep wearing the same old boring stuff, and you don't want to look like you're not of some kind of class. And so by 1786, there, your Europeans, your white Caucasians, especially the women, felt like the Black women were out of control. They were out of control because, first of all, we was walking with that, attracting men, And then they were dressing fancy, and they had the nerve to have fancy headpieces on. And back then, in 1700s, if you think about it, in France, women used to have those big old white wigs, and they would put bird cages and all kinds of stuff. So it was all about height. So women said, well, you know what, I'm gonna rip it up, I'm gonna tie it up, and I'm gonna make it as high as I possibly can too, because I'm important as well. And so that created a problem. As we see it, the white women were complaining they went to their husband. Probably the New Orleans society of white women forever, kind of thing. And they went to their husbands and complained, and so Governor Miro created a law. Now, we have a law, we weren't the only people to have, what they call the black code, or we call it the code of law. And there's a list of things that people have to live by. Believe it or not, there are several things in there about enslaved people or free people of color in there, but not as much as, believe it or not, Jewish women or Jewish people. They were trying to control them as well because they didn't consider us human. They didn't consider us citizens. So they just put a couple of little things to keep us under control. And one of them was to oppress these fancy women of color that's running around here. And some of them, you don't know what their nationality is. So that was a fear too. Because if you had your wrap on, I knew you was a person of color. But, black women do what we want to do. And they probably had, because they had the means of getting a hat. So this history of always trying to control us by our hate is a conscious move to control our minds. So we've been fighting this battle for a long time. Last year, when I started seeing things pop up about women with their natural hair having all of these difficulties, I called Barbara Trevine and I said, Madonna, it is no different than what it was when we had slavery. And I know. So we have always, as Black women, found ways to go around the oppression. Because you're not going to keep us down, because we're the ones holding down everybody. Everybody. Not just the Black man. We take care of a white woman in our house and my children. We're taking care of the massive, I feed them and whatever else we had to do. So Black women are the foundation of this country. We have taken care of everybody. Some of these people out here who are white supremacists, I bet you they would be surprised to know that their great-grandfather was sucking on some sugar. You know what I'm saying? So we have nurtured this country, proud of ourselves, and we should continue to fight and be who we are. And we need to continue to fight to make changes. We are the ones who are helping the changes, whether it's out there physically making the changes or in the ears, nurturing the person who can make those changes. So that's a little brief history. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them after. But what I wanted to do, because one of the things, Barbara and I go out and we do hair crafts at different events and children, festivals, things like that. We've been doing that for over 20 years. And what we find it surprising that people don't know how to wrap their head. And so I want to give you, for those who just don't think they know how to do it, just an example of how easy it is. Okay?
I know we have another surprise too, right?
So this is one of my favorite pieces. It's from Haiti. I've been there for about 20 years. I personally like long, rectangular material. Barbara likes a big square. She's a front tire, I'm a back tire. But just to show you a simple way to start. Wrap around the head. You get a good grip, tight. That's important. How tight do you get that grip? Okay. Now you can do it, so in the 70s, you pick it back. But I just side. feedback. Then you manipulate what you want from there. Okay? Now, if you want a big one, this is for you. So you need a lot of y'all. So that's just simple, but I want to show you what everybody does and don't realize. So when you get out the shower, wash your hands. What I do is to the side, left round. Simple. That's a simple haircut. Start there, then you'll learn to start playing around with it. Share with you other ways of playing with that. But I want to honor of all of those. Never ever be embarrassed by a vision of a picture of them or who they were. Don't disrespect me. Amen. All our men guide us. Forward. Oh, I'm sorry, before I finish, I have a model that's gonna come out. She is literally wearing something from Kaya's Boutique.
Okay.
From Nigeria, and her name is Dreamer Clay. And what we did for her head wrap was do more of a traditional style, more towards the 1800s. As you can see, she has a feather in her hair, because that's one of the things I forgot to tell, is that we put beads and feathers and pearls in our hair, in our head wrap, to give it a little bit more oomph. You know, and believe me, them folks was making people mad. You know, we walking around there swinging them hips, glowing, glittering, gleaming, blinging. Yes, and this outfit, most of my clothes are designed in Nigeria by Ahis Olase. And so we share in the creation of them. I pick out the fabric, and we were testing it to see if this would be a perfect type of dress to start off. And Drina, you're wearing it well. Oh, everything has a hair pop. Everything has a hair pop. All of my dresses have pop.
Please, by all means, give Kaia Liberty.
Thank you.
I was already round of applause. As well as our beautiful Howard Street. Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you doing it, and go ahead on and take that amazing walk, walking. Thank you so much for that history. Oh my God. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it. You really dropped some amazing nuggets. Thank you so much. Whatever it is that sparked that interest, I'm glad that it happened because you're able to pass that along to us. Now we're going to take a journey, you all. She just laid the foundation by giving us the history. I know you all probably have learned a lot, some things that you probably didn't know, some things that I didn't know. I'm going to be responsible for going back into my research on as well. I really taking notes. But history recording downstairs, man. All right, thank you.
Actually, and then it went to the Black History Ball.
Then move to Black History Ball.
That's
Okay.
We wanted to show us dressed in our best.
I like that. And that's something that is lost along the way, and that's something that we definitely have to about being more mindful, taking pride in how you look. Because like you said, you come from Kingston. So thank you so much for it. I appreciate it. Give her another round of applause, y'all. Let's get into the future of it all, right? For my girl, the future of the head wrap. As you can see, she has on a turban without a you explain it. What inspired you to come out with this line? And why turban? It could have been anything else, but why turbans?
Well, just let everybody know, Color Culture Collection at Color Culture, check out the people. So,
And the plug is going around there.
So the collection is, I have personally always, embraced my culture, but my culture is very, well, I would say this, on my grandmother's side, there is very much, but on my grandfather's side, we are very indigenous. We are Mississippi River Indians, right? And many, Black African American people have these, very mixed cultures. And so what we find ourselves doing is adapting, many, things that, like, experimenting with different, cultural things, clothing, traditions and different things. So we are a very mixed up people. You come from a little bit of everywhere. You got Haitian, you got Nigerian, you got Ghanaian, you got all of these cultures. And so what we have done is with cultural appreciation, we have taken what we are drawn to all together, right? So my collection is called the Color Culture Collection. And
Say that again.
the color
Culture.
culture collection.
So we got this.
Yes.
Okay. They have the other one. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
It's the color culture collection.
Okay.
And I recently got a connection with a young lady who's in marriage, has some connection with Ghana. And so I began working with her to put together a collection made with this beautiful fabric that she had access to through shipping and different things that she was doing. And I just wanted to bring something just from me to show my appreciation of culture, the different cultures that, you know, I find to be drawn to and to be, you know, a part of me. So I came up with something, and then with me being in Nike fashion, I have ready to wear collection, the color culture collection, colors collection, which is very much like high-end fabrics. I have, you know, I make gowns, ball gowns. So this particular collection for me just brought, you know, my appreciation of the culture and my cultural expression, and it just kind of fell into place.
So it's like,
Yeah. So, also fashion wise, I wanted something that, there's a lot of traditional African attire. I consider it, me personally, I dress, others may not, but I consider it to be a little dressy. Something that you would wear, you know, to a dressier event, mostly dresses, maybe a cocktail dress or something of that nature. I wanted to create a collection of something that I would wear on a daily basis. So I have joggers, I have loungewear, I have robes, I have things that you wouldn't even sleep in, eye masks, because I wanted to know that I would be able to have a piece in my closet where I can embrace my culture on a daily basis. Not just if I was going out to dress up, but if I was going to Walmart, going to the grocery store, I could throw on my gown. That's what I like to wear. So I wanted to turn what I like to wear and add some cultural appreciation to that. So I decided to come up with a collection of active and loungewear using Ankara material.
Awesome. I think your collection is amazing. I mean, you could have reached for any other thing, any other type of amazing, especially for people like myself, and especially our audience members. We like to put on joggers. We don't want to go out in our bodies like my girl Jay said. So we can throw on those joggers and still merge the two styles. Very, very- I'm grateful for that as well. So I know you have your models, so I want to bring your first model out. Let's see what she has on. She's rocking this amazing turban that I love so much. All right, great. Explain to us about this outfit she has.
Okay, so this is simply our, bathrobe. This is what you will put on, after you got out of the shower. So you throw your turban on your head, and you throw your bathrobe on with your slippers, and you walk around the house. And this is literally every day. This is embracing your culture on a daily basis. Embracing your culture while you sit on your sofa, sipping your wine and drinking your coffee.
Oh, that's nice.
So, it's also very much a kimono. So it is, versatile. I can see someone wearing it out, but it's very much, something that you will wear this time. And she is holding in her hand an iPad. So this is literally like, giving you clean vibes, right? We'll be coming with a full lounge there, so there'll be, a teddy set with shorts and a candy. So we have activewear, this is loungewear. Activewear is we're the Lululemon of the culture, so we bring in the entire fabric.
There we go.
We bring in the entire fabric out, in the activewear. So you're gonna be in the gym, you're gonna be jogging up the street in color culture, and you're gonna be in the bed, and you're gonna be bouncing around the house in color culture.
That's all right. That's the next one. Now, right? And I have a killer who's gonna come out next. I want her to start getting ready. Please, by all means, explain to us what this is. Because I like this. This is like simple. So think, I didn't want to rock my hair like I didn't want to rock my turban. Tell me about these though.
This is a wrap headband. It's just a headband you can slip on. It's also made with the authentic entire fabric.
Some blink going on
Yeah,
there.
you gotta throw a little blink on there. I gotta have at least something. A little sparkle some way.
Little sparkle.
So,
I love it.
throw your headband on, it's the coordinating accessories with the color culture collection. I heard the color culture collection, like I said one more time. Got all the accessories to give you that sporty look. We have bucket hats, we have the wrap headband, we have the turban, and, some hand pieces to accessorize, you gotta accessorize.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anything else that you wanted to add?
I mean, I just I definitely appreciate her giving us the history, behind, what we wear, because we very much adapted, and, once you see walking up the street and everything, a perfect example of everything that she was saying. It's so interesting how, you walk up the street and look at today's women walking around with their hairstyles and their hair, and understanding, how that's adapted and where they came from is beautiful. So, just, and it comes to us naturally, just kind of like something that we are gravitating towards, and that we can't help but to do because it's part of us.
Right.
So that's very much where this collection is.
That's so cool. That is really amazing to me. I love everything about it. So next, y'all, we have a bonus nice little treat for you. I have the loveliness pack who's gonna come out loud and do this. Like, look like someone's screwing. Please. You know, work that head back this pack. I love it. Yes. Nice and big and elaborate. Just like my kind of thing. You start to take the material in the front and play with it. Make it elaborate. As you are amazing. And this beautiful bag is by Geneva Joy, who's actually outside as well. You're gonna get a chance to meet the people and shop her styles and shop her brand. Good. I love it. I love it. Give her a round of applause, y'all. Just say I love you. And we still have some more to show for you, but before we get into that, I wanna actually have you all to do some Q&A, but I'm gonna save that for work again for us to close out, because I have my girl Jay every day doing a demo. You gonna do that demo on you? All right, okay, let's see how we gonna work this demo with y'all. Listen, like I told you, a major influencer in our community, love her spirit, love her style. Again, like she said, she is known for her head wraps. You know, she said head wraps, she coming through with the 1-2, and also a master barber as well. So I wanna ask you something, Jay, just kind of a little bit off, not off topic, but have you, I know with the head wraps now, a lot of us, and I'm saying us, have received like cancer diagnosis. Have you encountered any clients that you had to actually introduce the head wraps, or have to use the head wraps to be able to give them that confidence that because of the home that they couldn't really.
I've had some that, maybe a mother, and I offer, I guess, a relief. You can cut off, shave your head and you're still.
Right, that's all.
And I can understand if you're not comfortable with that yet.
Right.
So I have had that, so I guess I didn't even think, I never thought about it, but I'm on phone too. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I actually want to shake my feet all over. That's like one thing that I have never done, just.
That's on that bucket.
I want your own time over it. So, but yeah, so I never thought about that, but yeah, when she, and it just, I felt my ancestors tapping me on my shoulder, like, we've been telling you this. Like, I was in high school, cutting up my daddy's shirts, like, tying my head up, and I felt like I'm just going to school, like, so I just need something plain. I was going to work. So it was just something simple. I was going to be in the field, more or less. And then it was like, I could do this better. And I started getting nice clothes. I started cutting up my nice shirts. So they got better. And then you said, like, 'cause this is my signature weight. I don't want mine to sit high. So when you said they started rapping high, I was like, this is them running through. I really got excited. And I've always been the rapper. I've always been. I know you know I say. Right. But I've always been like, I'm gonna do what I want. And so it did something to me, and you speak like. I felt them tapping on my shoulder, like, now you get somebody saying it out loud. It's saying it in your head. Got it. So, like, this, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So, but yes, I had that situation where I was with my friends.
Cool. So they give them another way to ultimately,
And even with the women, I have a lot of clients that come in with, they'll come sit down in my chair, they'll flop down and take off the baseball cap, or do something. And it doesn't have to be a hat. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be a hat.
and it doesn't have to be a line.
It
doesn't have to be a wig.
Right. All right, there you go.
Right, there's a lot of cancer patients in time with wigs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they click in the menopause and, it's hot.
Right.
So, way of keeping.
You rather the rectangle ones.
Okay.
You know, it's just wow, like that rectangle.
One of my ex-friends that I was a little traumatized that most of my art from or the part, not but I like this side. I think high. You know, have hair, which I already have. Don't have the hair.
Yes, if you don't have it now, okay, now you wanna.
If you don't have the hair, I'll take a vine. I'll vine I'll take a vine and I'll take a sheet on another hair wrap. And I'll stuff that underneath the vine with the vine. I might let it. I'll have a piece. I'll wrap my head. I'll put it on stuff and I'll have my height.
Okay.
Once
You don't like that? Okay, cool.
So after that, now I'm just here on both sides.
Okay.
And I she said, one of the critics at first not
whatever you gotta make sure you gotta make sure you don't want it smash.
That's the foundation.
So here. Don't be, I put no air properly, and still fall out. So, am I not here? I like to swing in the opposite direction, so this is on this side. Don't get this first one. I'll swing it this.
Okay, so that's how you get the gavel. Okay, I come in.
Not necessarily a perfect practice. Well, I don't have to something, then I rely on this one. Okay, this one, the other one. Hand it out, hold the other side, I'm talking on my. I'm talking.
Oh my God. All right, all right, you were talking.
I keep it straight to the side because I like it. I like videos on Instagram to show people. I can't stand the line. I can't stand it. It's gonna be like, it's too easy for us to look like what we are. It's too easy. They don't even look very good and not get them. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the only way to hide obviously, but it's my favorite. It can comfortable. Not every like we don't know how to do. We don't know, I don't know how to tie that. You're not tying shoes. Like just I don't take it. Right. And you know my boards like that like back up, got that feeling like now they don't have to better. They put it quick and I promise you I'm fine for the daily.
Go ahead. I would like to bring out my mom as well. Hello, Kennedy. Kennedy, hi. Hi, Ken. You better walk, girl. I love it. And this is one Jay's work as well. It's a rain wet. I love it. Right. I am as well, but the mask doesn't allow me to do that. Try it. Oh,
And that looks like a hat.
yeah, that is.
Yes, yes.
This is nice. You can manipulate them a little bit. Okay.
And that's something I want to add is that soft materials are hard to like silk, they're hard to maintain on the head. So if you wanna add a very soft silk first, I like the cotton too, I highly recommend cotton. Because you can get that good grip. Then on top of whatever you created, you can put the silk on. And then it's more likely on.
Okay, thank you so much, Kitty. You look amazing. Thank you. I'm glad you know that was a trick, right? Because, and I don't want to deviate away from an actual lesson. This is also considered to be a crime. And the thing, I thought my mom was the finest thing, okay? She's originally from New York. She came down here to New York, right? So her signature style was a scarf, a silk scarf, tied right here, and it flowed down with a big hoop earrings. When I tell you I love to see a black woman today, I think she is so adorable with that look. And again, if you survive it. So how did those type of styles come about as well? Did that also stream out of the police?
Well, bonnets were for, and think about it, they're colorful now. But you know, you see the old movies and the women in the house and they got the little white mop cap they call, that's a bonnet. Those were for like, the people who did slavery work in the house and serving dinner. So they would have the mop cap or the bonnet. So it was just another statement of flag.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And I also was told too, and the past, when the, wasn't when it was tied to the back, did that actually symbolize, something?
It did, I can't tell you exactly what it symbolized, but in Caribbean, it is known that he would put messages, just like we did with evening of the clock. I can't say, I'm sorry, I can't get that right. But, they would just, they could put messages to each other, roads, I would doubt it if it wasn't part of, you know, Pennsylvania and all the different, all the ones with underground railroad. We had something. So they were probably, and you could also stick a message inside there and deliver. Yes.
All right, let's go crazy. But I'm not gonna go TSA like that. That shit's down right quick. Again, you're trying to go. Wow.
And every time I go to something, like, I gotta do it, right?
But as a watching also something, how does it make you feel? It also makes you think to the police about violence.
It one of the things is, it ain't, I know, us about,
Right.
like, go ahead and touch all my purses, I don't care. Like, take it all. The food bowl, for the last year, like 3 or 4 years, I've gone, I don't get my hair done, I wear hair. And I be one of those few people in there with my head tied up.
Get out of here.
And like, I remember the first year I did, I was the only one. And maybe like a few years, I started starting like 2 or 3 more.
Wow.
And one of my clients said, she's like, oh, I need a rap for Super Bowl. And I was like, you rapping yours too? And it's like, it just seems like the thing to do, especially with that ball.
Right, that one. Like, now we're gonna be rapping it at home this year, but it's like, y'all gonna get all y'all. She's like, no, and I'm like, we're gonna do that virtual mode. I ain't already in for that. This is what I would like to do. In case you all didn't see the models, I would like my models to all come out real quickly before we get into this Q&A. Y'all come grace us with y'all presence once again. All right. We can get into our Q&A today and then we come back out. All right. Now, I'd like to get into some Q&A. Do we have any questions? All right, there we go, y'all. Give them a round of applause. Amazing, amazing. That was so beautiful. Working.
Yeah.
I love the way that really get up, girl. All right. Come on, Nancy. How is it now? All right, sweet. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Perfect. Thank you all so very much. And if you like program, if you not on it, give me a heart of Q&A while we get into this portion. Okay, you want to wrap up, you want to go outside and then open up the line, eat some veggies and will. And celebrate. Okay, you all may have a seat like. Thank you. I can get that one. By the way, the hair is amazing. I love it. It is gorgeous. I can come back.
side of a social science, a side of a practice, right? That previously was all about, or at least previously maybe experience concepts around how Black families operate. You know, it was actually the industry that separated changed a lot of that habits in Portland. And the conversation today, because when you guys are talking about censoring Black, right, and a certain way of express ourselves, censoring in fashion, something that's not even perceived by quiet, right? And so I guess my question is, how do you all, what's the level of intentionality, right? Is it something, you know, like you said, you know, it just actually occurred on the occurred, you know, hey, you guys experience, or Daryl, I'm sorry, I got to give you the name right, my name is Bobby, right? You know, you talk about, you know, how, you know, in your world of fashion, from this our culture. So how do you guys see the intentionality around censoring, you know, particularly in rap, nobody does it actually, right? So the potential of censoring blackness, you know, inside of just spiritual life,
looking at each other like, okay,
Oh my God, let me just go,
but, you know, you have to be intentional. What I found was, when I was younger, like she first cutting up t-shirts and wrapping t-shirts around it, we all, took a t-shirt and, you know, wrapped a knot in the back of our head, because, when I was in high school, that's pretty much all we wore, especially when our mom would give us the money to get our hair done. And, you know, I felt, I really felt that I got away from that as I got older, because I was interjected into the professional world. And so what I found with that was I really got away from, the blackness of my fashion. For a long time, I felt very like washed out. I don't know if that sounds horrible, right? But I got a job in the corporate setting. I worked for the city of New Orleans, and you know, you work with a bunch of different cultures, and you tend to assimilate. You tend to want to fit in. You're trying to get a promotion. You're trying to make sure you get points, and you're not trying to stand out too much. You know, and that's kind of the culture of, you know, what the corporate world is, and we as Black women found ourselves in that. So when I got back to this, when I decided to come out with this collection, I had to be very intentional. I had to tell myself that I was going to push boundaries in some areas, because as an adult, certain areas, certain scenes, certain places we go, they make us on right now, they make us feel uncomfortable in that. And so you have to be very intentional, knowing that you're going to stand out, and knowing that you might stand out so much to where somebody might have a. And so, you know, intentionally bringing that back into my world, because I do feel like I had lost that. You know, and intentionally bringing that back into my world meant that, you know, when people saw pictures of me, they're gonna be like, oh, this person, you know, different now, or whatever, or you added something different to your wardrobe that you weren't doing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to rediscover something that I let go of, not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I was trying to fit in. And so, yeah, it's very intentional. Black women have to always be intentional about making sure they insert their culture and their experiences into how they dress. And sometimes, you know, people don't feel like it's okay. You know, you go in a certain environment and you feel like it's not okay, like you should fit in. And so, you know, we have to be intentional. I agree. My situation, like I said earlier, like I'm a rebel, so my intention was to aggravate or annoy. Cause my hair, I have 4C. It's straight up and down 4C. So I've had the looks and the feeling of what is your head doing? I look at myself in the mirror like, what is your head doing? But especially when I saw other people looking at God like, oh, this getting on your nerves? Let me show you something. So I'm about to ramp it up and really do it up. I taught school. I was a school teacher for like 7 years. So I was already out in that setting. I'm expected to look a certain way, dress a certain way. And mine came with a different type of attention because our clothes are beautiful, but I'm a form fitting type of girl. I like all my clothes tight. So I would get certain looks based on how I dress. So my hair wrap is a hold up, don't play with me. Although you see this, and yeah, I got it, and I'm gonna let you up. Don't play with me. So as for me, and I'm sitting there talking to y'all, and talking about this, making me realize certain things that I've done, and not even realizing why I was necessarily doing them. But the hair wrap is I'm a queen. Like, I'm royal. Like, don't say, no, my life. But and this is no shade to any other woman, but another woman who might have on the exact same outfit as me, and I might have on that outfit and a hair wrap, we operate at 2 different frequencies. So my hair wrap makes people realize the frequency in which I operate. So that's my intention behind it. Like, hold up, don't play with me. That's my hair wrap.
I don't know, if I started out, in anything, I would definitely be a rebel. I grew up in the city. I was.
And you're from Trinity, so we
And,
know.
right, exactly, so I'm already different. Then I choose for a profession, theater, so I'm a performing artist my entire life. So I was already different in all of that kind of stuff. And I guess I didn't know, at a young age, like, I had to be me. I had to be me. I didn't feel right. It's certain clothes, I just don't feel right in it. I like color. Like people would say to me a long time ago, like, oh, you always have a hair color. I'm like, no, I don't. And it took me a while to figure it out. It was just that I had colorful clothes on. And so in the 90s, arts administration, it had to become suited. And it just doesn't, I got big arms, they don't work with my arms, I hate the skirts on my hips, they just don't feel right. And I started visiting South Africa during that time, and so what I would do is buy fabric from there, solid color mostly, and I would get it made at home. And that was, because they lime green too, you know what I'm saying? So I could feel, I could behave myself as an arts administrator. And you was gonna have to accept me for who I am, because I just don't feel, like you put on some black skirt, feel very sexy. But the brown and green just didn't work with me. That was just too boring. And I feel like, if I don't have colors that I want on, I just don't feel good. Now I love a good white shirt, but I might have on some, if colorful pants, or I might have solid color pants, but my shoes is gonna be multicolored. Not office color. It's gonna be some wild stuff. A nice little pump. It's gonna be some wild shoe. Because I had to have that color. And so now, I just know who I am. I'm a black woman in America. Did this 59 next month. Have experienced being black and rejected by black because I have colorful clothes on. And I just want to add, because I'm gonna do this promoting, that you say you like form fitting. Like I said, I always like to be long flowing. Well, now I wear the fit. And I just want to say, ladies, the dresses that I have, not necessarily here, but Ms. Drina has quite size and officer and but guess what? I don't need you standing because they hold in everything. You don't have to feel restricted. Like a suit makes you feel restricted.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from our audience? No, that's so sad. And I want to get to the end of the song. Y'all say, oh yeah, now I remember. Yes, I love the fact of the amazing pink and purple. Hi. How are you? Sure. Okay. Okay.
My question for you is, how do you make, privacy, history, and just knowing our culture and our customs, portray.
Well, I'd like to start with that. That's a great question. The first is we need to know our history because we need to be proud of our history. So many Black people are ashamed of slavery. That was not our fault. I worked on the teachers underground as a consultant, and Journey Summerlin said when we met for the first time, and I gave those speech and stuff, and my job was to work with them in the kitchen and how you serve. And she said, because I was telling them when you bring that turkey out, we're proud, because we were always a proud person. No matter what we did it with a lot of pride. And she said, I never ever thought that we would be prideful. Yes, we are prideful. So to learn our history, starting with our family, starting with our neighborhood, then we spread out from there. Our children can develop pride. I go to school, I teach. I don't care which area I teach, they're gonna learn some history. Because I need them to find some pride in what they're doing. But that's the first step. Is
I guess I would say it's kind of what I'm doing, with the collection. My intention is very much, our culture and being, more youthful and approachable. I know this, I would hate to sound like, you know what I'm saying, something bad, but when I was younger, especially, I would always, like, see someone in African attire in a very traditional, way that they wore it, and it would look old to me. You know, it's not something that a young person would put on. And why not take that same beautiful textile, beautiful cloth, and make it into something that a young person would say, okay, those joggers are cute. Okay, those joggers, okay, if I need some bike shorts. You know, I'm about to put that little headband on to go with my jeans and my t-shirt, because that's what they're wearing. So just taking the culture and just not staying in the same lane. What we tend to do is we want them to learn history, and it's very important for them to learn their history. But then allow them, allow us, allow younger people to take that and adapt, right? And turn it into something that they would actually do, that they would actually wear. Because a lot of brands that use African textiles, they aren't changing very much. So we wanna adapt, we wanna modernize, we want to be in style, we love hoodies. Young people love hoodies, that's all they wanna wear. It could be 90 degrees outside, and they want a hoodie on. Okay, so why not take that, right? So why not take, this beautiful African, fabric and make them comfortable in it? And that's what's important. And, once they start embracing that and feeling like they can be a part of it, I feel like
I agree. I have the hair wraps, and I recall my son who is 11, and so this was like 2 years ago. He may have picked up one of my fabrics, which was about to tie on my head, and I had to stop in that moment. I was like, let him be, let him explore, let him see how he's comfortable with it. Whenever he came in there, obviously not tied how I was tied mine, but that's like you have to give them the space to explore without laughing, without what you're doing, without just let them move through it on their own because I appreciate my mom, my dad. They never stopped me from, and my mom has never tied me in. My dad has never tried to see, but I've always had the space to explore it, and now my mom thinks that she still doesn't have it, but she embraces it. So I think we should give our young people the space to explore our culture and let it fit into their lane, however it's going to fit, much like she's saying.
If you look at, he's wearing turban. And,
I know
Nick Cannon is wearing a turban.
They still at that on 20,000.
Right, right. And believe it or not, Napoleon wore turban. And you know that was Josephine. Josephine was the one tying the turbans on it. She was working at mine, you know, in Louisiana.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much. I wanna, spotlight, I'm sorry, you had a question? No, I thought I said it. Oh, okay, look, I see you. I'm blinking, but I still see you. I like to spotlight Geneva Joy. Geneva Joy, can you join us again, please? Geneva, weigh in. There she is. So, ladies, if you see on the models, these lovely bags, this is the lady who has, she's also set up on outside as well. Would you like to plug your business real quick? Here you go. And tell us about these.
Hello, everybody. I'm Geneva Joy. My business is called Waste Love Waste Feed. I import waste feeds and other products from Ghana, West Africa. Waste feeds are a very, very old custom. They date back to dawn of civilization. We find them when they find like one flat islands in the like East Africa, yeah, they're most notably known in West Africa. I get my fish from Ghana. I ran in here. People like to ask what they need, and I like to have more punctuation. There's, you know, you're talking to your name, like Andre, how I have it right now. It's a Nigerian to think about their name, like you have all the different options. If you have a more spiritual reason for it, so I always suggest because we are West Africans, do your research, find one of those traditions, that's how you break it. It's almost like my grandma, like, you keep it on the right thing, that's that. The other grandma said, well, you keep it on the left thing, we'll call you doing it wrong. But like grandma, you're around the most when you don't know it. So that's the same way I can do it. Right now, like good prices, we have
Thank you so much. So much to be enjoyed, y'all. Thank you so much to you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for keep calling. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. So if there aren't any more questions, I'd like to wrap it up so we can have some time to fellowship because it's all about that. We're gonna fellowship and social business. Oh, there's no more. Yeah. So that's it for our questions, comments. All right, that's it. Okay, y'all. Well, let's end this thing because what you got for me up there? I feel like getting the people up out of their seats. So the one tell them close me out with. Y'all, I would love to see. Oh, that part. I want to thank you all so much. Tell me how we can find you.
I am on Instagram as jadeeveryday.com. I mean, Jade Everyday. I have a website that is jadeeveryday.com. J-A-E, and Dade is also spelled jadeeveryday.com. You can find cleaning services as well as the shop now. What you can find my hair.
Oh, and where can we find you, Dee?
Okay. Alrighty, so you can find me definitely on Instagram. I'm on all social media platforms as Dressmaker. My website is also Darylus Dressmaker. Darylus is spelled DRROLES. So it's Darylus Dressmaker.com. Of course, everything that I have available, the color washing collection, along with all of my other, because I'm very much, obsessed with fashion. So all of the other designs, some hand painted things, artists. So all of that can be found on our website. And definitely check out who I am, what I do. That's way to do that. An example of everything on my Instagram, which is D_the dressmaker.
I thought you was about to say, get a sample of everything on your table.
That's right.
Right. When I do so many different things, I'm posting a little bit of everything, but
Right.
you'll find everything that I kind of dabble in on there.
Oh,
And on it.
thank you so much, and I'm like, fine.
Well, I said I was the oldest one up here,
No, you're not old, you're seasoned.
I've been the oldest one up here, that's all. So you can find me on Facebook,
Okay.
you can find me on, with my website. All you have to do is type in Karen Idea Live, Livers, spell Livers. And if you can't find me, just call out Shay.
Okay, just call that shit, because she'll be good, and I'll probably be on answer your phone, we understand. Okay, ladies, what you got? All right, you got a little music cue for me, so we can have this little dancing time, because I don't know about y'all, when I'm ready to do a little 1, 2. Little 1, 2, get up. Here we go. Thank you so much, ladies. You guys know what I'm doing. Thank you. All right, feel free to come and grab some wine, eat, drink, and be merry, please. Thank you so much.